Why isn't anybody talking about this? Full range reps are good, but it's become such a focused upon element of training that people aren't doing anything else besides it. And it's actually hindering you from making a lot more progress and enjoying the strength, skill, and sustainability that you could otherwise. Just like all the students that train with us, strength ninjas, they're doing things like handstands, muscle ups, flares, flips. And the thing that I'm going to show you today is going to help you to not only get to that point with your own physical development and progress, but be able to maintain that sustainably. So we've got, of course, kids and teens that train with us, but also 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and up. And they're doing handstands and backflips and all this stuff. And the thing is this, it's oscillatory exercises. Now I call this the pulse method. And I mention it from time to time, and I've actually used this for decades. But I'm going to show it to you today. And this is something, like I said, that I've used for a long time, and it helps to scale up to really phenomenal levels of strength, but it gives you really, really good joint health overall. And I didn't even know that there was such a name for it, oscillatory exercises. But let's just take a couple of easy examples, okay? We'll start off with one that everybody can do. And of course, don't mistake videos for instruction. I'm just showing you what works for me and my students. And if you want to see more student stories and so on, then you can use the link and you can go in there, and we have a lot of fun putting those together because people are doing some really nice things. But just starting off in a basic lunge, we don't actually go all the way up and all the way down and all the way up and all the way down. What we want to do, we want to do a couple of different methods of training, okay? So like I said, full range is fine. It's good. It helps with hypertrophy, building a foundation of strength. But pulse method or oscillatory exercises are things where we're staying in this position for long periods of time, like 50 or 100 reps. Same thing with the squat. We're down here like this, like you saw at the beginning of the video. And I often use the squat just for a stretch, but it's also helping with mobility overall. High volume of reps, 50 reps. Down here, not going up past parallels, staying low. And that's gonna build so much resilience for your connective tissue. And honestly, that's a lot of the first stuff to go, is the resilience in your joints. I'm sure that you've experienced some joint issues along the way, but these are our way of not only fixing it, but getting beyond that. And all of the handstands and flips and all of that stuff is just a byproduct of good solid training. So there's two specific techniques. I want to go into some more, but I also want to mention, look, if you're struggling, if you're having a difficult time with your training, if you're working all day in a high demand career, like Venny, who's an attorney, Patrick, who's an attorney, PJ, who's an anesthesiologist, firefighters, military, pilots, all these folks are training and getting to these nice high levels, press handstands, human flags, all the rest. And so if that sounds like you and you do want to get to those higher levels without wasting time, that's the big thing for most people, is just wasting time. Throw a little backflip here, just for fun. But you don't want to waste any more time. You just want to train, you want to come in and you want to progress up the levels. You can watch the student stories like I mentioned. Those are really, really cool. And you'll be able to see what they did. You'll be able to see what they share about their progress and about the step-by-step process that they used. And then schedule a time and we could chat and dive deep into your goals and go over the things that you actually want to accomplish, and then stop wasting time. We could help make more progress in the next 4 months than in the last 4 years. And I see it all the time, just like a lot of students over here at the workshops that we've done all around the world. So the next one, you might not be able to do this, I'm not sure, but this is a basic, sit kind of this angle here. And this is for the Stalder, okay? So palms are down, legs are up and straight, and then we are lifting like this, using high volume and small ranges of motion. We're not using the whole range of motion. One key factor there is that training like this brings blood in through to the muscle, and then that muscle pumps that blood down into the connective tissue, into the joint, where a lot of joints, a lot of the connective tissue, they don't necessarily have their quote unquote own blood supply. It's pulling that blood into the joint from that high volume repetitive activity. So we have high volume but low range of motion. Now I always talk about building your range of motion, okay? You want to be able to have splits. You want to be able to do all these things. Bridges should be basic for you in order to be able to even access some of the exercises that I'm talking about. So they go hand in hand. And then like the backflip that I showed you, that is stacked on top of this kind of training. So it's scaling up, you see? So it's a step-by-step process where we're looking at not just full range all the time, dragging things out, spending so much time on hypertrophy and this obsession with muscle building, where muscle is only one small piece of the puzzle. You've got to have connective tissue strength. You've got to have good joint health. You've got to have good flexibility and mobility and sustainability that all work in conjunction with each other, so that you have the byproducts of the skills. You know, like here, I'll show you another one of just, and just so you know, like I'm not even warmed up or anything. I'm just out here. I just came out to shoot a video for you guys. But just to be able to move and use your body as you were designed to do, to have that freedom of movement, okay? And so those are three, all right? We had the first with the lunge, and that's a basic one just so you can understand very briefly. And then the squat, okay? And then the Stalder. And I call this the pulse method. Not oscillatory exercise is another name by which it goes. So let's look at something for the upper body then, okay? Upper body. Yeah, this is gonna get gritty. So upper body. And if you cannot get to this position, it's okay, because the small ranges of motion help you get there. And that's the whole point. And if you need more help getting there, then again, use the booking and schedule your spot. So small reps, high volume, beautiful for the upper body. Little bridge mini push-ups. So we've done 4 now. And all of these build up into the strength of skill that I'm talking about, okay? Another one for the legs and the core. Whoever works on their hip flexors and their core and their leg flexibility simultaneously. Here's one way that I do. Holding the leg up and out, and then circles. Just like a martial arts kick position, but working the connective tissue and building the stamina through those individual body parts, AKA filling in the weak links, as we call them. And a weak link, just so you know, if you're not familiar with that term yet, is this, where you have the flexibility, okay? Let's say that you're supposed to be able to do flexibility to this range, but you only have it to here. That means that this part is gonna be zero strength. You can't even get there to work that because you can't move into that position. And so all of these movements solidify all of those weak links, and then you're able to build up, like I always talk about, to get to strength, skill, and sustainability. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one and in training soon.